Welcome back to the Awaken Your Soul's Journey podcast. I'm Angela Clement, and I am thrilled to have with me today Tamra Oviatt, and she is the founder of the subconscious metaprogramming healing modality. Being a uniquely gifted lightworker, master healer, and galactic channel, she has always been destined to bring permanent healing, personal growth, and positive transformation to people using the power of sacred activations. And she has 20 years of experience with energy work, spiritual healing, and working with the collective earth grids and the ley lines of the planet. And she's now a sought after master teacher of 12 transformative sacred activations and Akashic records classes, and best-selling author of 9 books. For more than a decade, she has been working with and directed by the source to shift and transform countless lives. And by just attending her webinars, you'll get an uplifting and empowering experience. So thank you so much for taking the time today, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to share with you and your audience.
Yeah.
Really happy to be.
Good. Yeah. So just tell us a little bit more, give people a little bit of background on how you became this healer. This is awesome.
Well, it wasn't my idea to start with. I had the experience of at 18, I had a cat that was really sick. She was a skinny cat and she blew up like a football. Mm-hmm. And I was taking her to the vet. We're running tests, doing x-rays. He couldn't find anything wrong with her. So I thought she was going to die. She's lethargic. She's barely moving. And one night I was sitting there with her and I said, God, what do I do? And I heard, put your hands on her and pray. So I did. And the next morning when I woke up, she was walking around like nothing ever happened. All the swelling was gone, everything, and it freaked me out. I didn't tell anybody about that for years and years and years. I told my grandma because she was just unconditional love and accepted everything. I didn't know anything about the spirit world. The only thing I knew is the religion I grew up in. And I didn't resonate with it, but I wasn't searching for anything. And I kept hearing 1999, I kept hearing, you're supposed to be a healer. This isn't what you're supposed to be doing. I had a very successful job. I was doing really well. And I just kept hearing, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be a healer. And I heard it over and over and over and over and over again. So I finally said, okay, show me the way. And then I was reading some spiritual magazine and there was this guy doing your numerology or whatever chart. So I called him, I had my chart done, and he says he does hypnosis. So I went, okay, that's cool. And I went over to his house in Marina Del Rey. It was about an hour from me. And I did a hypnosis session. And then he says, I teach how to do this. I said, okay, that's cool. So then I learned hypnosis by really this incredible master. He's not on the planet anymore, but I have his book, which nobody has because he self-printed it for me. So it's not out there. Wow. And it's really good. But so then I learned hypnosis, and then I heard you had spirit guides. So I gave a friend of mine the script and I said, I want to meet my spirit guide. So she took me into hypnosis and I met my spirit guide, Chung. And that was really amazing. And then I started talking to angels in hypnosis. And then I started teaching angel classes. Don't ask me how this happened. It was the angel store in Ventura, and they started inviting all of their participants, everybody that shopped at their store, to my classes. And then I started doing these angel classes, how to talk to your angels. And I was doing hypnosis work. I would find new modalities and I would start learning them. And I kept hearing through this process, this is for your training, not what you're going to be doing. And it was very frustrating because I would take them up to master teacher level. You know, I was doing NLP, hypnosis, theta healing, all these different modalities. And I kept hearing, this is for your training. And then I was back in the workforce because I just couldn't survive. You know, I wasn't making any money. And then I went back out of the workforce and said, okay, I'm doing this full time. And I fell flat on my face again. And I started talking to this guy in England, and we talked for about 6 months on Skype. That was the channel you talked on video. And he says, come over here, we'll get married, you start your business here. So I finally said, okay. And I went over there and I knew I wasn't going to marry him. It's like, what the heck am I doing here? I mean, I was broke. I had $200 in my account with no credit cards. I had a PayPal debit card. That was it. And here I am in England. So I went for a walk one morning and it's like, I'm going, God, why the hell am I here? And I heard to go to the Roslyn Chapel. So I went back to his house. We booked me a train and a B&B for the next day. And I took off to Scotland for 3 days. And before I left, I heard to have Vera, a client of mine that lived in Scotland, meet me at the church. So she agreed. And we walked around the Roslyn Chapel and I sat down in the pews. I said, okay, God, I'm here. And I was told to go into the Akashic records. So I did. So I went into the Akashic records and I had Akashic records training. I knew how to get in there, go in there and get information for people. So I went in and there was a being standing there. I've never seen anybody in the Akashic records. So I'm all, well, who are you and what do you want? I'm very direct. And he said, Lord Metatron, I'm here to assist you. So I said, okay. And then all this energy, like this tornado, came into the top of my head. And it was followed up by these golden seals, these golden like coins with like a hole in them. And it was all quite shocking. And thank God I had Vera there to witness it on her too, because I don't think I would have been able to have my experience without her there. So all of this came in and also into Vera. And then afterwards I heard ground. We were dizzy, our heads hurt. We went out to lunch. And on the way, she's dropped me off at my bus stop. I heard, you're now crystalline, give these to others. So I never heard from Vera again. I think I scared her. But I went back to my B&B and I was messaging all my friends on Skype. Guess what just happened? Do you want this? And everybody's all, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I started giving that activation to everyone. I didn't know it activated your 18 strands of DNA. I had no idea. I just know what happened and I was told to pass it on. So that's what I was doing. And then I went back to this gentleman's house and I messaged this guy, and because I knew I wasn't supposed to go home. I just knew I wasn't supposed to go home yet. And I had a 3-week trip plan and it was time to go. Mm-hmm. In like 2 days, it was time to go. So I messaged this guy, Vincent, who had interviewed me before, and he was in London. I said, I need a cheap place to stay. Do you know of any? And he says, my girlfriend and I just moved into a flat near London and we agreed I'd pay him 50 pounds a week and trade him some classes because I was teaching other classes. And I agreed. And so I was there for about 6 weeks. And during that time I was there, I went to Stonehenge and Avebury. I didn't think anything of Stonehenge. Now I do the inner circle and I've been in the inner circle probably 8 to 10 times now. The first time I walked around, I'm a California girl. It was freezing to me in March. And I was walking around and I sat down on a bench. I said, okay, I'm here, and then so this energy started flowing in again. And this time it was even more powerful, it seemed like. And it scared me. I just went, stop what you're doing. What are you doing to me? And he came to me and kissed me on the forehead. And he said, don't worry about it. Let it continue. And I did. And then I got this other activation, the Tree of Life activation. And when I went into the Akashic records that time, there was 2 beings standing there. And I asked the other being, I said, who are you? And he says, I'm Moses. And I'm all, Moses who? And that was, so this is the Moses codes I received. So again, I received another activation. And then I was talking to a friend of mine, Daz, the guy I came to visit, his friend Daz. I decided there was no way I was marrying this guy, but I really liked his friend Daz. He was spiritual and Buddha and just all this stuff, which was all really new to me. And so we would talk sometimes on Skype. I don't know where in England he lived, but I said, I've got these 3 activations. Do you want them? And he said, yeah. So during the activations, I heard to tell him he was going to be sensitive. And I wasn't trusting myself in information I was receiving at the time. So I didn't say anything. I just kept my mouth shut. And I gave him the 3 activations. And I talked to that guy, David, the next day or 2 days later. I don't really remember. And he said that Daz took everything out of his yard, into his yard, his computer, his artwork, his writings, everything. He was a writer. He had published books. He was an artist. He took everything into his yard and did a bonfire and burnt it all.
Oh.
Broke up with his girlfriend of 9 years and moved into a Buddhist colony. And I went, oh my God, what did I do to this guy? I felt so responsible, it was freaking me out. And then I finally got to talk to Daz. It was about 30 days later, and he said his life had never been better. He was so happy. His writing was better. His artwork was better. He was just so much more in flow. And these were the first 3 activations. And then I was talking to a friend of mine, which the year before, she was a friend / client. And I kept telling her she had to change her blood pressure medication. And she wouldn't listen to me. And she had a stroke. And I told her to go to the hospital. I heard she had a stroke, but I didn't tell her that. I just said, go to the hospital. She didn't listen to me, had another stroke. So the next morning I went over to her house, picked her up. I was mad at her, because she didn't listen to me. And I took her to the hospital, whatever. But she came out on a walker, couldn't brush her hair. She was a mess. So that was like a year before. And then, so I had these 3 activations, and I had been working with her like crazy for a year, trying to help her, and nothing worked. So I said, do you want these activations? She said, yeah. So I gave her the first 3 activations, and the next morning she was off her walker. The next morning she could use her arm, and I was just blown away. Just totally blown away. It's like, wow, what happened? And this kept happening to me. People calling me and doing a session with me that are going into surgery for breast cancer, uterus cancer, and nothing's found. Even just the day before, it's been an absolutely amazing journey. It's been shocking for me. And it's like, why me? Why am I doing this? And what I've come to after all these years of doing this, I've been doing this for 12 years now, is because I love people and I want them to be happy. It's not that I'm qualified. It's that I do have love for everybody. So I get to manage this, and I get to teach people this. I don't consider this my modality, that I came up with it, because it was given to me by spirit. And I ended up staying in Europe for 8 months, and it was really cool. I'd sent out a little email. I didn't have an email list, just my personal email, right? And I was sending out some people, and I sent this email out, and it was a guy I'd worked with, him and his wife, a couple of years before. And I told him I was in London and this is what happened. Do you want a session? Right. So he goes, I want a session. I'm in London. Right. And so it's like, wow, okay. And this is spring of 2012. Remember, the world was supposed to end in December 12th, 2012, the Mayan calendar. So I did a session with him. And during that, I heard, ask him if you can go to Spain with them, because him and his wife had this house that they were renting, and they were going to buy it. They were thinking about buying it. And it was on a mountaintop in Spain, and they had it all set up with all their survival stuff. It was off grid. It had spring water coming into the house, and it had solar panels that lasted about an hour. They definitely needed new batteries. But so they were going to take their stuff out because they weren't going to buy the house and their lease was up. So he asked his wife if I could go with them, and she said, yeah. So the next thing I know, I'm meeting him at the airport and flying off to Spain. And I got to stay on this mountaintop, totally off grid we were there about 6 weeks, and it was really, really incredible. And I got some more activations during that time. And then they took me, and then they invited me back to their house in Swindon, England, which is by Avebury, which to me, I love Avebury even more than Stonehenge. It's my favorite place. It's got a lot of ley lines running through it, and it's just, you can touch the rocks and lean up against them and stuff. So they took me to Avebury, and then they took me to Glastonbury, and Glastonbury is the heart chakra of the world. And right now, because it travels, the third eye is in Stonehenge and in Avebury. So the heart chakra and the third eye chakra are together. How perfect is that for change?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our psychic abilities connected with our love is just perfect. So I love Glastonbury so much. I moved there. I did every time I needed money, it showed up. You know, I told you I only had $200 in my account.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I needed money, somebody would book a session with me. And then I spent about 6 weeks in Glastonbury, maybe a little longer, maybe 2 months. I don't remember, but it was so cold. You know, I'm a California girl. So I knew somebody that was over in Italy. So I had him. So I rented an apartment on eBay, and it was in Italy and it was overlooking the sea. And so I went to Italy and I was there for about 3 months. And during this time, I just had all of these different guides and masters coming in and teaching me and giving me activations. I didn't come up with any activations for the first year and a half. Everything was channeled and brought in. And as a matter of fact, about 90%, 95% of the activations are all channeled in activations. So I don't have guides and stuff showing up anymore because I've moved to that fifth dimensional. And I want to bring this up because a lot of people are like, what happened to everybody? You know, I used to have these guides and everybody showing up talking to me because you're now living in the fifth dimensional grid system and you're talking to your higher self. So you no longer need their support. So I just wanted to share that with people because I'm hearing a lot of people very, very confused about this. I was too. You know, it confused me and it felt really lonely at first.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten through that and it's fine now. But sacred activations, I mean, this is the background of it. It just keeps changing me and everybody I know. People, it's just, it blows me away what it does. And what it does is it changes the subconscious belief systems. Because we have all of these belief systems, and a lot of them are from 0 to 7, right? Because we're in theta brainwave the whole time, learning how to live in our family, learning how to live in our culture, learning how to live in our sex. Everything is coming in at that time, and it's setting up our programs for our life. It's not our fault,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's what we're running on, but we have the capability of changing it. And we can change our subconscious belief systems. You can't just write affirmations and hope things change. Some of them will, but are they going to be lasting? You've got to change the subconsciousness programs, those computer programs that you were born with, which you need because you need an operating system just like a computer, right? And then all those upgraded programs that you'd received on how to run your life, all of that can be changed and it can all be upgraded to live the life you want. I mean, I live on the beach in Yucatan, Mexico. I mean, it's crazy. I live with the love of my life. I dated him 28 years ago. After I got out of marriage, we had a wild, fun time. I never thought I'd see him again every time I saw him. So I had a wild, fun time. And then here we are living together 24 years later, reconnected, living on the beach in Mexico. I mean, how does that happen?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, it's just changing your subconscious beliefs opens you up for greater things that you really desire. And last thing I said was, there's no way I could be in this relationship if I hadn't healed my subconscious belief systems. I would have destroyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, because I always destroyed love. I could give it, but if I was receiving it, I would push it away.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So sacred activations, what's it all about? It's about you living a happy life. That's what sacred activations is all about.
Beautiful. Gotta like that.
Yeah. And it's easy. You just have to listen.
Yeah.
Or if you want practitioner to run them on yourself and other people, it's so easy to learn. You receive the golden seals from me or source. And then you've got the whole program you need to change things.
Wow. That's incredible.
It really is. It blows me away. There's no ritual with this. There's no rules. The only rule in sacred activations is honor sacred activations. When you're doing sacred activations, this is sacred activations. You can't misuse it. You can't run activations on people without their permission. It won't run. The energy cannot be misused. Yeah. So there's nothing to be afraid of.
Well, awesome. Let's try it.
Oh, already? I totally want to run some activations for you in the audience, but I want to finish talking first. And then I
finish your story.
What?
A little overzealous.
I know. So, I mean, they're really amazing. And how it happens when I run them, you might feel something then and there, you might not. It doesn't matter if you feel it or not. It's still working with you. And we call it metaprogramming in the human biocomputer because it's intelligent. It isn't something you have to listen to 7 days in a row standing on your head. Once you listen to it, it starts working and it starts shifting you. So, and it seems like in 3 days, a bunch of stuff's going to come up. And then in 3 weeks, more stuff's going to come up. Again, some people, I've seen people that don't feel anything. I was talking to this lady. She goes, I didn't feel anything. I gave her the first 3 activations. And I said, oh, okay. It was about 30 days later. And then she went in to tell me how much her life had changed. And I went, oh, okay. So you might be the person that doesn't feel anything. You might be the person that is releasing a lot and you're bawling your eyes out. And it could be 3 days later and you're all, what's going on? You know what I mean? Because you forgot you did the activations. So then you're like, what's going on? This is crazy. You know what I mean? Why am I feeling this way? It's just your stuff coming up. And when it comes up and clears, it's gone. It doesn't come back. And what do you do after that? Universe knows what to do. It fills it in with positive emotions, with happy, happy, joy, joy. The more you focus on happy, happy, joy, joy, the more happiness and joy comes to you, right?
Right. That's awesome.
It's really magical. I mean, it's really crazy. It's really powerful. It still blows me away and it still continues to change me. I just got back from Japan. I've been working with this company in Japan for about 4 years now, and I got to go do practitioner trainings and stuff there. I was really excited. And I just got back from Glastonbury. I did practitioner training there. Love Glastonbury. It's one of those places I go visit often. I was in the center of Stonehenge. My friend Wesley and he's all, let's go to Stonehenge. I'm all, they've been sold out for months because there's only like 25 people that can go in the center, right? It's special tickets. And I said, I've been looking for months. It's sold out. He goes, well, let's look. Bam, an opening. It's like, no way. So it opened up, we bought our tickets, and then the next day you look and it's sold out again.
Yeah. So it's interesting how the universe aligns, how we can make things happen, manifest things. And I was going to say, and yes, you teach all of this. These are your courses. So that's pretty cool too, that you've got those practitioners out in the world doing what you do.
No. Yeah. I've got practitioners we're I can't say all over the world, but in many countries.
Yeah.
And it's really cool that we're all connected. We're all in this collective consciousness, right? So when we're working on releasing fear, anger, resentment, it spreads out throughout the whole world. So just you working on yourself or whatever you're focusing on, you're affecting hundreds of thousands of people. So you're affecting people all over the world just by working on yourself. and you start noticing your world gets better. People are nice to you. People are friendly. People don't try to take advantage of you. You know, you see lovely things. You notice the flowers. You notice the blue skies. You notice the beautiful music or whatever that is. It just starts getting happier and flowing more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really live in my heaven on earth. I really am. I don't have a lot of bad days. I have mostly good days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not bad days. It might be bad hour,
Yeah.
you know, and I just clear that up. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm perfect or I'm a master because I'm still on my path.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's where all these classes come from. Trust me, I needed them all.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So, yeah, that's what I'm all about is helping you become a better you,
Mm-hmm.
to live a happier life, to have more experiences of joy and happiness, whatever that is for you. If it's doing art, you know, going out and having coffee with girlfriends, going shopping, getting your rent paid on time, whatever that is, and whatever level you're at.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
That's why we were in the path for the hurricane.
Oh,
As a matter of fact, we boarded up our house. We moved into Merida into a very strong, nice built hotel, knowing they'd have generators and food service and stuff. And Merida, where I was also on the path, and so was our house.
wow.
So I connected and I worked on it, you know, and the hurricane, when it was getting close to us, my husband said afterwards, he says, it looked like it hit a wall. It
Mm,
hit a wall, split in two, and went right. It went out of this town that there's some condos there, which are going to be strong built, right? They build with cinder blocks here, and not a lot of population. And there was like no damage. A sign went down in town. We
wow.
didn't get any rain. We were supposed to get like 6 or 7 inches of rain. I don't even think we got an inch.
Hmm. That's incredible.
We have a grass patio roof, you know, those grass roofs they do. Everything is perfectly fine. And it's like, well, when's it gonna hit? You know? I didn't, and I can't say I did this, but all I can say is it was really cool what happened or what didn't happen. And I've seen this before with working with the weather. I've done this because I have grandchildren and a son in Florida. And they've had hurricanes come in there and I work on it and it gets to land and it goes or becomes a one or something, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then a friend of mine and one of my teachers in Turkey called me. We've got these raging fires coming at us. Next thing I know, the fires are out and gone the other way. So who knows?
Who knows? That's right. What does it hurt?
It's cool to see what happens.
Mm,
And then the next morning after the hurricane, I heard when I was waking up, because when you're waking up, you're in theta brainwaves, right? So I heard the Wizard of Oz activation. And then I heard you had the power all along. So, and the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is believe in yourself. You are spirit playing a game. So believe in the power and the ability you have to make changes in the world and to make changes in yourself. And don't put all of your energy out there. Everything is inside of you. I've heard the kingdom of heaven is, and anybody who finds themselves finds the kingdom of heaven. I believe heaven is right here on earth, but I also believe hell is right here on earth.
mm,
What are you playing out? Are you spinning out in sickness and in fear and in anger and resentment? What's spinning you all the time? Because that's hell. And then, or are you enjoying your life, creating, sharing? You know, it's got to be a balance. Can't just be about you. Can't just be about the world. I've tried that. It knocks you over. You can't do that. It's got to be a balance. So when you're manifesting for the world, also manifest for you. Make that balance. And if you catch yourself spinning out in fear or sickness, you got to work on that to change it. Because those are your subconscious belief systems showing you those are belief systems.
Right.
That's all it is. So it's about clearing that out so that you can really live heaven on earth. And as I was saying earlier, how we're all connected and we affect hundreds of thousands of people. I completely and totally believe we will get world peace.
Mhm.
And world peace comes through every single one of us. And now we have the heart chakra and the third eye chakra connected. Focus on peace, focus on love within yourself. Don't get caught up in all the programming out there they're trying to give you, because that's all it is. It's just programming they're trying to give you to win the game. They're not bad people. You just got to change you, and all of those characters change.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So what else do we got to say? How long is this podcast?
Well, we're going over now, but I'm okay with that.
Oh, we are? It's a 30-minute podcast? Okay, I'm going to shut up and run some activations.
Yeah, but that's okay. We'll do that now. So it'll be great. Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to do my first activation I ever received, and I call this the Lord Metatron activation. It's also, you can see it as a Lord Metatron cube. It's sacred geometry. It's going to activate up to 18 strands of DNA.
Okay.
Okay. So just sit quietly. Remember, you can't do this wrong. And I'm quiet. This is not a guided meditation. I connect with source energy.
Okay.
And then I'll do one more. I'll let you know what it is when it comes in.
Okay. Sounds
All
good.
right. There's another one we're going to do. It's called Fear of the Future. So any fears you have, just focus on those. And Angela, just if you have any pain in your body, just focus on that for a moment, okay?
Okay.
And anyone else listening. Okay, bring your energy back into Mother Earth. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've never had them quite like that done. So it'll be interesting to see what comes in the next while. Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing from you.
Hmm.
Let me know. Anybody that's listening to this, let me know how you're doing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
we have free activation on my website. So yeah,
yeah,
try it out.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I encourage people to definitely give you the feedback because I know how important that is. That's awesome. Yeah.
I love feedback. I love testimonials. People tell me how they're doing. I have this new practitioner. He's a chiropractor. And he had this client, which, she was off balance. One leg was longer than the other, and she needed an adjustment. And he gave her the first 3 activations, and she no longer needed the adjustment. Her feet
Wow.
were fine.
Wow.
He's like, wow, I can't even believe this. That's just the first 3 activations. I mean, it blows me away. It really does. And I'm so excited to be of service and to help people learn this activations, or also just even do webinars if it's not something they want to learn to do. But it really helps you go into your own power, so you're not needing others to help you. You can help yourself,
Great.
you know.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today and for doing this. I really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And anybody that listened all the way through, thank you for your time. I know how important time is and in your busy day. So I feel very honored you stayed. I'm very thankful, Angela, that you brought me on and took time to spend time with me and to share me with your audience. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll make sure I have a link so people can find you. And
Okay, great.
yeah. And I want to thank everyone for listening. And bye for now.
Bye.